In this video, I show you how I built this simple, rustic-looking coffee table just using basic hand tools. So let's get started. With the hand tools, I do have some limitations on the design I can pick. And it's not that certain designs are impossible, it's just not really feasible. It's kind of an absurd amount of work to actually get those designs. But I do have one in mind, and the first step here will be making a frame. And later on, we'll worry about the top. I'm starting with the legs, and these I'm cutting at 18 inches. And now there's a lot of varying heights for coffee tables. Different recommendations, but honestly the best thing you can do is just measure from the floor to the top of your couch cushion and just use that as a rough estimate. Now that I have my 4 legs, the next step is cutting out some stretchers, because the main idea here is the front and back will have longer stretchers and then some shorter stretchers for the sides. All of that put together will create one nice solid base. For my coffee tables, I typically like 2 foot by 4 foot for the size. And now for the stretchers, I want to have a 2-inch overhang on the top. And I'm using 2x2s, which are 1.5 inches square. I'm using that for the legs. So I'm going to subtract 7 inches from each measurement on length and width for my stretchers. So for the width stretchers first, I'm going to cut these at 41 inches. Now for the side stretchers, 24 minus 7 will be 17. Now for assembly, I'm putting together the front and back pieces essentially. I'm going to be using the side stretchers to connect everything. So with 2 legs and the front and back or width stretchers, I'm going to connect these together, one of them up at top, and then the bottom one I'm going to offset by 8 inches from the bottom. Now I'm going to be trying out some finish nails for this rather than the typical ones. I really don't want to see the nail head at least as much as possible, so I figure these will help with that. I let the glue dry overnight, so as I'm moving this around the shop, it doesn't twist and pull apart. That's the weakness of nails, of course, pull strength, and that's why I used a lot of wood glue on this. But now with the frame put together, we can start on the top. I have a few ideas for that. I would like to make a separate top piece that can be attached later. So let's get started. Now for the top, I'm going to build it kind of like a deck in a way, if that makes sense. I'll have a bunch of boards going lengthwise here, but I'm going to have some 1x4s going around in a border around this. And I think that'll add more design to it so it's not real plain. And so, like I mentioned before, I'm aiming for 48 inches, which would be a 2-inch overhang going around this. And that's the great thing about this design. You don't have to be very precise. And that's something to keep in mind. If you're worried about precision, especially if you don't have the tools to be super precise, at least where it's difficult to be precise, think about designs that don't rely on precision. So anyway, if I'm aiming for 48 inches and I have a 1x4 border going around this, they're usually 3.5 inches wide, double that, 7 inches. So I'll be aiming for 41 inches for my slats going lengthwise here. So let's get started with that. So right here I have my 5 slats I cut out. And now with these, if I stack them all together here and check the depth, we're at 17.5 inches. And because I wanted 24 inches and I have the border going around the outside, I have to subtract 7. That would mean I need 17 inches. So I'm over. There's a couple things I could do here. I could rip one of these down so that it's the precise size I want, or I could just call it good. And that's what I'm gonna do. Going back to what I said about this design, that's a nice thing. I'm a 1/2 inch over, but that doesn't matter. It's not noticeable because the way the top just sits on and overhangs the frame. So anyway, now that I have these slats, I can work on cutting out the border. Now for the borders, it's pretty easy. What you wanna do is line up your border piece. I have this already cut out at 48 inches. It's actually a tiny bit over. And all I'm gonna do here is just try to center this as much as I can. You know, I want like 3.5 inches on each side. And all I'm gonna do is mark off a little point there right on either end of this slat. And so after that, I can take my square here using, hold on, let me get this flipped around. Using the 45-degree angle, I can mark off where I want to cut. So I'm going to cut off that piece because this border will sit here and it's going to tie in with a 45-degree angle to the next border piece. I'm going to do that all the way around. Now with my border pieces done, you can see how all of this fits together. Just like I said, these go around here, miters connecting everything. So basically like that. That looks pretty good. Doesn't have to be perfect or anything. Now I have to tie everything together, and there's a key point here. Something to keep in mind is that as we piece this together, I want the weight of everything to sit on the legs. So my idea here is I'm going to use some 1x4s, stretching across here that I can nail all the boards into, and I want it to line up with where the legs are. So that way the 1x4s can sit on these legs. So I can just use this just to double check with an offset. You can do math if you want, but placing everything in place really helps. So, you know, 1x4 is 3.5 inches, so to be safe, I can just say go 1 inch from the end. That should give me plenty of 1x4 to nail all the parts to, and also to span across the legs here. Now I cut out 3 boards. These are all 22.5 inches. And I cut out 3 because I have these 2 on the ends that I talked about, where the whole tabletop will sit on the legs. But I also cut out an extra one just to add extra strength to help tie everything together. I think 3 will be fine. I could go 4, but I think this will be strong enough. So what I'm going to do next is nail these all together, and I'm also going to add a little bit of glue too to add strength. Well, there we go. I got this all nailed together. And for attaching it to the frame, you know, I could drive nails through the top into the legs. I think I'm just going to add a couple dabs of glue. That way it's still easily removed if I need to repair it later or replace it. But with the glue, I'm not seeing a nail drive through the top. I gave this about an hour for the glue to set up, so that way as I'm finishing this, moving it around, the top doesn't move. But anyway, before that, I'm going to clean it up a bit just with this sanding block I got, getting rid of any marks I see. And after that, I'm going to finish it with some black walnut Danish oil. It's not a protective finish. It's really there for a color. There's technically polyurethane mixed in, but if you actually want a protective finish, add some polyurethane as well, or any type of top coat. But with the black walnut, I was thinking the dark color may look good with this design. So that's what I'm doing next. Let's get started. Well, there you have it. I think it turned out pretty nice. I do like how this turned out with the darker color. I think the rough look of everything with the darker color, they complement each other, I guess. So let me know in the comments. Would you try building this? What might you change? What kind of design would you go for? Thanks for watching.